think I will be filling a big shoes, but I'll try to do my best. He said the brain over heart, but for the next 20 minutes, I want your brain and also your heart to listen to what I would like to share. I'm not going to bring much of a technical discussion into it, though I'm a technical person, but I would like to cast a vision. I know we have students here, we have investors, we have people from industry, we have representatives from the G20 nations. So keeping in view, I would like to point out certain things that would help in the goals of G20 nations as well as our nation, India. My name is Jayanthi Vuppala, and I'm a proud pharmacist. I did my M.Pharm from Andhra University, Vizag. Any AU students here? Oh my, so many from my alma mater. So glad to see you. I've been working in pharmaceutical industry after my M.Pharm for close to 2 decades now. I have worked in different multinational companies, leading their quality systems and compliance, third-party manufacturing, and I'm very proud to say I come from the manufacturing or the plant side, and I absolutely love the pharma unit operations. So I stand here to share my experience of learning from international work and also as a student from the university here. So the topic I would like to speak today is on pharmaceutical quality compliance and improving access to affordable quality medicines. And if you're using the brain, Sushruta's favorite, brain, you must be wondering why is she saying pharmaceutical quality compliance and why is she talking about access to affordable quality medicines? What does these two have in common? In the next 20 minutes, I would like to take you through a journey to show why these two topics are related. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So the agenda here is why pharma in a global tech summit. I'm going to put before you a lot of whys and want you to do the thinking. You must be wondering, this is a global tech summit, and why, and what are these pharma people sitting on the stage and doing some wonderful talks? You will know it once we come to the end of this session. And I would also like to present you a few facts on pharmaceutical industry or pharma sector in general in the post-pandemic world. I will not dwell much on it because TV Narayana Garu has already covered a couple of my slides. So I'm not going to repeat it. And coming from the global pharma, I'm going to move down to the Indian pharma. What is India's role, especially as India takes the presidency of G20 nations, leading the nations now in geopolitical scenario and also in the pharmaceutical sector? What is India's role in providing access to affordable and high quality medicines? And we as scientists or science people, we always love to look into the roadblocks to success. That's what the repurposing did, right? All the failed drugs, they looked into it and they put to use. So we will also be looking into a few roadblocks to the success of the pharmaceutical sector, specifically focusing on India because majority of us would be interested in that part, a little bit of international scenario as well. And I would like to cast a vision here on what is the role of technology. If there are some technology people, don't rule out that this is a pharma talk, but you have something to take home, and regulators and the industry, investors, the students, academia, and research. And I'm going to sum it up for you, and then we will have a call to action at the end. Okay, so quality and compliance. These are the words we often hear, whether we are a pharma student or any student, in fact, or a consumer, quality and compliance. In fact, these two are slightly different, but they are interchangeably used. Quality is fitness for use, that is having right features, free from deficiencies. Quality impacts patient safety, impacts the efficacy of treatments. Quality impacts the bottom line. Bottom line is the profitability of any company or any venture, what remains at the end after all your revenues and everything is gone. And not just the bottom line, it also drives up the revenue, which is the top line of any country or even a firm. And then let's look at compliance, because quality and compliance are often used together. Compliance is conformance to a set of standards or procedures. Quality and compliance are different, but I know we use this very often together, so I would like to lay it down first. And compliance is not optional. It is a legal requirement or a statutory requirement, and I would like to add it is a moral or an ethical requirement, because we are talking about pharmaceutical industry. And there are ramifications for not having compliance or not in compliance. The ramifications can be so serious, it can be financial, legal, or sometimes even criminal consequences. Above all, it can cost lives. And an effective compliance program is key to achieving safe and quality products. So by giving this a brief overview of what is quality, what is compliance, now I would like you to take on a journey, if you're not still in food coma after a nice biryani. I hope you're all here, right? Okay, I hope you're not in coma, but I'm going to take you through a journey to see what's happening in the pharma world. And as I told you, I'm going to give you a 10,000 feet view, or as it is called, a helicopter view of the industry, because this meeting or this gathering is about gathering ideas, innovation, and arriving at solutions. So I'm going to give you some ideas which probably some of us can take back and bring some solutions to the global as well as India's health needs. So pharma in the post-pandemic world. Okay, like already mentioned by our speakers before, it is worldwide pharma has 1.42 trillion revenues, which is huge, and the global pharmaceutical industry is estimated to grow by 2.4 trillion dollars by the end of 2029. And pharmaceuticals is one of the highly regulated sector. And one of those statements that you hear often now is on global supply chain. Supply chain is the network right from the manufacturing until it reaches the end consumers. And there's a lot of talk about accessibility of medicines. Supply chains are key to accessibility of medicines. And then new treatments, there is an increase in new treatments, and there is also increase in logistical challenges. See, technology is so important. So drug shortages, as Narayana Garu has mentioned, so that there's a talk about drug shortage of essential medicines. And there is a public health crisis. If you go on to certain websites, for example, I was looking at US FDA website, and they have put a list of essential medicines which are in drug shortage list. And some of them are very essential medicines. So there is a crisis globally, and we will look at India in the next slides. And as far as healthcare is concerned, healthcare is a major priority for G20 nations and beyond. New treatments increase, logistical challenges also increase. So now we have looked at, in a high level, at the global pharmaceutical sector or the global pharmaceutical arena. Let's zoom down to India. What is India's role in access to affordable quality medicine? Remember three things if you don't remember anything from this talk: accessibility, affordability, and quality. These are the three pillars of pharmaceuticals. The patients need to have access to medicines, and the medicines should be affordable, and the medicines should be of good quality. If one of these is missing, the whole purpose would be missing. So the pharmaceutical industry in India, again, there are some repeat. It is expected to double up by 130 billion by 2030, and it contributes to the almost 2% of the country's GDP, and largest vaccine producer. And in the pandemic era, all of us know, is it Mission Maitri or something our government has done by extending medications to lots of other countries, especially the antivirals, hydroxychloroquines. I personally worked on hydroxychloroquine project in the midst of pandemic, June, July, September of 2020, releasing a few batches to outside of India, HCQ tablets. So India has been doing this exports to other countries, and I'm very happy to say that India exports to more than 200 countries, and it is third in worldwide production and 14th by value. And I'll cruise through, I'll not go more into this. India also has a highly skilled resource pool, and some of the highly skilled resource pool is sitting here right in this arena. And I was told that the number of pharma colleges, approximately 1,400, maybe, sir, it might be more than that. I tried to look it on the PCI page, and approximately 160 plus in the Andhra Pradesh state itself. Maybe 28 to 30,000 graduates are coming out of one state each year. So if you look at the pharmaceutical sector, hold on, we're going to the good part now. When we look into the pharmaceutical sector, we have pharmaceutical hubs all across India, the western part of India, the southern part of India, and now in the northern part of India, in the R&D space, in the bulk drug space, formulation space. And if you would notice, Visakhapatnam is also on the map for the bulk drug cluster. So now we have looked at the overall view about pharma industry and what India is doing and where is India poised to grow in pharma industry. Let's look at the roadblocks to success. So inspection outcomes. If you look at inspection outcomes, we see a lot of data integrity findings, and they continue at the Indian firms, which highlights there are challenges in the culture of quality. And in 2014, the European agency suspended the marketing authorization of 700 drugs. And in 2022 is no different. Just last year, some of the Indian firms received 3 import alerts, which points to the fact that there is a lack of robust quality management system. When I say quality management system, it encompasses all the systems that are required to produce a high quality product. And I know QA and QC are used interchangeably, but quality unit is what is QA and QC. And some small and medium manufacturers, they lack basic GMP setup, like facility or testing labs. And the second challenge, or the second roadblock to our great nation in achieving that projected milestone of 130 billion US dollars, and also the lofty goal of being the pharmacy of the world, is the quality failures continue to plague our industry. It is a public health crisis. And if you're reading newspapers, I'm sure some of you are, these are not new news to you. DEG, diethylene glycol adulteration in pediatric syrups. In India, in Gambia, in Uzbekistan, a few children are dead. Multiple drugs are suspended. And one of the report on the government website says 20% of the drugs sold in India are substandard. And 35% of the drugs sold worldwide, the worldwide substandard drugs, when they looked into it, WHO says that 35% came from India. It's again a documented report. I have a link down there. So the cost of poor quality has a cost. It not only tarnishes the image of the entire industry, it also impacts trade. And not just the trade part of it, it blocks the access to safe and affordable generic medications. The very goal, India is poised to lead globally, right? What is India's strength? India's strength is to provide cheap medicines, but good quality medicines. Cheap doesn't mean bad quality, right? Affordability, accessibility, and quality are not interchangeable. But the points what we are discussing are certainly roadblocks, but which we may need to look into to achieve our global role. And it can, because it impacts our projected score. Carl Sagan is an astronaut. I don't know how many of you know his name. If you don't know, after you go from here, maybe try Googling his quote. He's a very smart man. He's no more. He's one of the astronauts from US who went on to, I think, mission Apollo or so. He said, it is the responsibility of scientists never to suppress knowledge, no matter how awkward that knowledge is, no matter how it may bother those in power. We are not smart enough to decide which pieces of knowledge are permissible and which are not. So what we are trying to do in this talk is not trying to dismiss knowledge, but look into that knowledge and see how we can overcome and be a global leader and be a pharmacy of the world. And there are some regulatory and policy oversight issues. I don't know how many of you have heard about NDMA, nitrosamine impurities issue. Anyone read it in newspapers? Anyone? If you haven't, then probably you should read it. So in 2018, a lot of drugs were recalled, especially valsartan class of drugs, the sartans, because they contained an impurity, NDMA, which is carcinogenic. And there is a need for proactive risk assessment. Unfortunately, a lot of these drugs are banned in other countries, and some of these drugs still continue to be sold in India and probably consumed by some of our family members. And there is a need for updating our drug regulatory guidelines in line with the stringent regulatory authorities, which I guess our current regime is working on. And there is a crisis, public health crisis on adulterated or substandard drug crises, which need to be addressed. Otherwise, this will become a roadblock for us when we say that we, as India, are the pharmacy of the world. And also, there is a need to be a proactive leader. India took the leadership of G20 nations. We need to be proactive leader than to be reactive after other agencies come in. And again, one of the point the other speakers also touched, India's pharmaceutical industry is heavily generics focused. We make the copycat versions, absolutely fine, because we make the medicine accessible and affordable, but this may not be a sustainable model for us. We need to rethink this, and there is a need for diversification. You know, even for APIs and key starting materials, we still depend on China, I guess, right? And after this pandemic and disruption of global supply chains, there is a high need, like I think Narayanagar was mentioned, there is a high need for us to be self-reliant. So there may be change in geopolitical scenarios. So in the words of Mark Twain, denial ain't just a river in Egypt. This is a pun, probably denial, the Nile, okay? If it's going over your head, that's okay. And Zig Ziglar, a guru, a coach, said the first step in solving a problem is to recognize that it exists. So this is the heart of what I want to say in the next two slides and conclude. So we have seen where we are in pharma sector globally and in India as well, and what are the roadblocks to our success. And now I would like to put before you some areas of focus which we can look into and then take it forward to come out of this. One of the area is strengthening of our drug regulatory landscape. There is a high need to update our GMP regulations on par with stringent regulatory authorities, especially focusing on quality management system, because we have a grand vision of global benchmark on quality. We said we have 621 US FDA approved plants in 2021, and I'm sure they have approved some more after that. Being a country with a lot of US FDA, EMA, or other stringent regulatory authority approved manufacturing sites, I believe Indian regulation should be a global benchmark on quality, not the otherwise. And there is a need for central and state regulators, improved model of oversight. I respectfully present, we have regulators here as well on the dais. So there is a need in our federal system to look into the model and the reorganization that is required. And one more important thing is to penalize the bad apples. Because the whole industry, the entire industry's name would be defamed if this doesn't happen. And there should be a transparency and traceability of inspection outcomes by publishing the databases and having public access. So the next aspect, so the first thing I spoke to the drug regulators. The next group of people I would like to talk to are the technology people. I'm sure there are people from tech. Anyone from technology? Tech, right? There are from, yes, thank you, I see you. So there are people from technology. What do you have to do with pharma? You do have something to do. Let me lay it before you. Digitalization and in pharmaceutical operational excellence is the need of the hour. Technology and innovation support, providing software solutions for laboratory or manufacturing operations, for data control, traceability, audit trails. I have worked in industry for 20 years. I know majority of the software, we buy it from outside. And we say India is a technology giant. India is a software headquarters of the world. Why are we not providing to our very own pharmaceutical industry, and why should our own pharmaceutical industry look for outside when they need some software or some technology solutions in pharmaceutical arena? Maybe some startups would rise as a result of this. Please look into it. And lab precision equipment, testing solution, a majority are imported from Germany and Japan. All the lab instruments, you go and see, either they're from Germany or Japan. There is a need for Indian startups or Indian companies to come and produce these and use the great initiatives like Make in India. Please make in India the lab instruments, the precision instruments, and support the industry. And there is a need for track and trace serialization of solutions for the global supplies. And technology has a great role in ensuring patient safety and also meeting the global healthcare demands by providing solutions. And the other group of people I would like to address are the innovators before I come to an end. We need to move on from generics to innovator drugs. We can't rely on being the generics leader. It is good, but it's not sustainable. If you talk about blockbuster molecules, Dr. Coppola has shown some blockbuster molecule, Viagra, sildenafil citrate, or some other blockbuster molecule. When was the last time India gave a blockbuster molecule? I don't know, maybe Lipitor or Keytruda or something like that. Innovators, please, this is the area of focus. Let's invest and invest and incentivize research. All the people who are responsible to do, maybe from government, please, this is an area we need to look into. Research capabilities need to be increased. And the next group of people I would like to talk to are academicians or the students or from the education side. There is a huge, huge gap between the academics and the pharmaceutical industry. I say that because I personally have experienced it and interviewed hundreds of candidates. So there is a need to plug this capability gap. There is a need for updation of our pharmaceutical curriculums in line with the changing needs of industry or the profession in general. And there is the research that is done at academic levels. It's nice that people are doing some awesome research at university level, like you're doing it in South Korea. Even in Indian industries, I'm sure there is some great research going on. Hundreds and hundreds of research papers are submitted. But what's happening to them? Are they transcribing into solutions that solve some pharmaceutical or medical or in general healthcare needs? That is an area we need to look into. So skill development programs are the need of the hour. For example, there is Skills India by the government, and there is Skills AP in this, and Indian Pharmacy Graduates Association, which I am part of, is also offering skill development courses. If you are interested, you might meet one of our representatives here. And the next group of people I would like to talk are the industry or the manufacturers. Anybody from the industry, pharmaceutical industry or the manufacturing side here? Yeah, I see a few hands. So I'm speaking to the industry here. There is a high need to have better quality system and quality management and compliance culture leadership. How does it start? It starts with people-centric, putting people first. People and quality are so closely related. So the corporate culture, the quality culture, and people are so linked together. And pharmaceutical industries, the manufacturers, you are India's or the nation's image builders. So please think about it. And pharmaceutical sector has a higher calling, if I can say, than just supplying the needs, serving the humanity. No other sector, I guess, has this great responsibility by producing their products. So affordability and quality are not mutually exclusive. It doesn't mean that, okay, if I need to make a high quality product, then it will be very costly. And it also doesn't mean if it's very costly, it is of high quality. Both affordability and quality are the requirements. So in summary, I've spoken to different groups of people. I try to cast a vision. I try to put before you some roadblocks to the success of pharmaceutical sector. And to summarize, the India's grander vision of being a global leader, we call ourselves the pharmacy of the world, and true. In providing access to affordable and high quality medicines, it's in jeopardy because we want by 2030 our ambitious growth to reach 130 US billion dollars. I am afraid we may not be able to reach that if quality compliance is not prioritized. As I said before, accessibility, affordability, and quality are three global healthcare priorities, not just India. Collaboration. And India takes the presidency of G20 this year. So it is also an opportunity for India to take the quality leadership, quality excellence leadership in the global community by providing high quality medicines to the world. And in the spirit of our nation's motto, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? One earth and one family. So this is a call to action. I have taken a few of these words from our Prime Minister's speech when he took the G20 presidency in December last year. These are some of the words he has laid before the nation, and I would like to repeat a few of these. And I would request all of you to join me in reading this together. Would you do that? Okay, let's do this. Let's read it together. Let us join together to make India's G20 presidency a presidency of healing, harmony, and hope with an agenda that is inclusive, ambitious, action-oriented, and decisive. We pledge to proactively accelerate new ideas and collective action in improving access to affordable, high-quality medicines. And the tagline for G20 nations as India leads the presidency is bigger responsibility, bigger ambitions for one earth and one family. And this is what I would like to present before you, and I would like to thank you. Thank you so much. And I would like to acknowledge Indian Pharmacy Graduates Association and Mr. Vijay Bhaskar Reddy Garu for his guidance and support, and the Global Tech organizers, and Jim Lepinski, who is my personal mentor, and also the Global knowledge partners and my international colleagues through whom I have learned a lot. So this is my email ID, and I'm available here. If you have some questions, you can reach out to me. Thank you so much.
To the sir to please present the memento to ma'am. Can we extend a round of applause? You know, to be very honest, it's been a great privilege and honor because there are many expertise guest speakers, many people who have been participating in today's Global Tech Summit, where we all together taking a forward step towards shaping the future of technology. Do you feel really proud to be a part of this event? Yes or no? Yes or no? Cool. Very nice response. Thank you so much.